My name is Sharita Jones, and I was born and raised in Vance County, where I currently serve as a fourth grade reading teacher at a Title I school. Growing up in Vance County, I grew up in a neighborhood that was considered poor. Gangs and drugs were apparent, and the kids that attended my elementary and middle school tend to walk to school because our school was so close to our neighborhood. I remember our elementary school had to use the cafeteria for everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. We ate there, we played there because it was our gym. Whenever we had school assemblies, we had our school assembly in the cafeteria. Now, there were other schools in the district that did not have that problem, but then there were some that did. Now, we at our school were faced with a lot of other inequalities, but I would need more time to discuss those. Looking back on the days as a child in the school system, I laugh now knowing that I'm a reading teacher. And I say that because I was a student that failed the third grade. And I failed the third grade because I did not pass the reading test. Now, my math scores were always good, but I hated reading. And to see now that I'm a reading teacher, I just laugh. Um, I was what the teachers would consider a troubled child. Now, what my past teachers did not know about me was that I was a foster child and I had moved around to 8 foster homes in less than 2 years. Now, my fourth grade teacher decided to have a meeting with my mom because I continued to disrupt his class. He told my mom that he felt as if I could do the work if only I would sit down and pay attention. He asked for suggestions from my mom, and she agreed with everything that he was saying. He said that I needed to get involved in something outside of the classroom, and the chess club he thought was a good idea for me to join. So my mom agreed, and I can tell you the chess club changed my outlook on a lot of things. Now, I have been working for Vance County Schools for 12 years this year. I have taught kindergarten for 4 years, first grade for 1 year, fourth and fifth grade for 3 years, and fourth grade reading for 4 years. Every day I walk into my school building, I see a lot of students that look like me when I was in the third and fourth grade. I see a kid that is fighting for attention, so they blurt out. I see a kid that sleeps in class because they share a bedroom with 2 or more siblings and they've been up all night. I see a kid that will not sit in their seat because they just have to be moving and doing something. The list goes on. These kids are seen as problematic and they sometimes get overlooked as gifted because of their behavior problems. I know because I was that kid. I can recall finally being labeled as academically gifted in math my fifth grade year. This was the year after my fourth grade teacher decided that I needed to join the chess club, which I excelled in. There were many times that I was the number one player, and for 3 years, my EOG scores were 4s and 5s. Now, my fifth grade math teacher noticed how I could solve math problems mentally, and he referred me for AIG testing. Can you imagine how I felt when I found out that a little troubled kid like me that lived in a foster home that had failed the third grade had been tested for AIG and qualified? Now, think about the kids that have similar stories as mine. They are labeled as problematic kids. They cannot sit still. They blurt out all the time. They sleep in class often. They are sometimes overlooked for academic accolades because they are considered behavior kids. As educators, we must take the time to build relationships with our students. Building relationships will allow us to see the whole child. There's a reason for the negative behavior, and we cannot allow these things to hinder our children from excelling. There's a reason for the negative behavior. We cannot blame them for possibly having ADHD or ADD. I had gotten to the point where I had heard it so much that I self-diagnosed myself. I'd heard it from my teachers, and I even heard it from my family. I am an educator that does not mind sharing the struggles that I had in school with my students because I want them to know we all fall short. I also want them to see that I am also successful. Not only am I successful in my profession, but I look like them. I talk like them. I came from the same town as them. Building trust and relationships are key to getting our students to where they need to be. My fourth grade teacher was not from Henderson, North Carolina, but he did see something past my behavior problems, and he decided to do something about it. During our after school chess sessions, he gained my respect. Until this day, I share the story of how he changed my life. He is the reason that I decided to become a teacher. I'm going to leave you with a quote by Wayne Dyer. You cannot always control what goes on outside, but you can always control what goes on inside. As a teacher today and a school leader in the future, I am aware of some of the challenges my students may face outside of the classroom, which may cause them to display some negative behaviors. It is my duty to control what I can control when they are at school with me. I am dedicated to nurturing them and providing them with a safe place for them to learn in the most conducive and equitable environment. I hope that each of you finds it in your heart to take the time to get to know your students and tap into their strengths. Their strengths may actually help them improve on their weaknesses. That child that is disrupting your class may end up being your diamond. I am Sharita Jones, and I wish you well.